Only match because we're on the same bikes, so for me to actually try and up my pace, but it was better to try and get myself a bit of a gap and then go for it from there. But then obviously it started to drizzle a bit, and then I couldn't tell if it was wet or dry. So I'm just looking forward to a race. It'll be good fun, hopefully.
It wasn't too bad. Obviously I haven't been to this track before, so more time on the bike here is obviously going to be better, so I can get quicker on the track. Yeah, their bikes are a lot quicker this round, so it's harder to keep up because I haven't got the straight line speed on them, and their bikes are pretty quick round the corners. It wasn't too bad. One lap I had rain all over my visor, so I thought it was wet, but it turned out it was quite dry out there, so you could go quicker than you thought you could. Luckily the qualifying was dry, so they weren't too bad for that, but hopefully it stays dry tomorrow, otherwise I don't know what they're going to be like. Hopefully finish in the top three, that's probably the main aim this weekend, but we're just trying to get the brakes a bit better because they're still quite bad, need to get better brakes, and then we can hopefully go quicker into the corners.
Track. Really beautiful track, I have to say, but we'll talk more about that in a minute as the track goes hot and they're away as we start the second round of the TTXGP. And straight off the grid, the Annie Seal and Pete Ward on the two Mavizen's bike have really come in from behind, but the Agni bikes are strongly in contention as we get into the first second turn now on the banking. Rob Moon takes first position, followed by Pete Ward of the Electric Hussars, and now we're on board with Jenny Tinworth on the second of the Agni bikes, followed very closely in fourth position by Jim Lovell, of course, from Team Tork, who won the first round of the UK Championship. And there we have Man TTX and James McBride taking Annie Seal on the Morris motorcycles, but the real duels are going on up at the front here as we go rapidly into the Ricochet, as we almost halfway through the first lap here. Again on board with Jenny. Pete Ward now very tight up close with Rob. Pete Ward, of course, in Snetterton came fourth, but now here he is. It looks like he's contending here for a pole position. And through the corkscrew into start and finish. What do you think, Anthony, as we finish our first lap?
I think this race is going to be a lot about handling. I mean, the circuit is very, very twisty, and you've got some really nice sections like the banking where the bikes can really, really lean a long way over. Also, the brakes is going to be a big issue here.
So as you can see, the two bikes very closely matched. Rob Moon in the white helmet, Jenny in the blue, but virtually on top of each other. Yeah, a big cheeky look back from Rob there. Of course, the bikes are so quiet, you can probably hear her as well. Actually, I would have thought this is a brand new experience, but it looks like a very tight. They're virtually side by side now as we move down into the school. Look at that, virtually it's like watching the movie Chips. All right, we're going uphill now. Third position is the Electric Hussars, Pete Ward. Here we have Annie Seal, but oh, someone's off. Who's that? It's Harry Hill of and as you can see there, he quickly ran down and hit the stop button. Of course, that's part of the safety protocols that all the racers are taught. As the bikes are silent, you can't really tell when the bike's on or off, so when the marshals approach the bike, the first thing they have to do is hit the big stop buttons, which all the bikes now have at the back. But here we are now with the leaders. Jenny now overtaken, Rob Moon in second, and with Pete Ward in third. But there seems to be a bit of a tussle developing for third and fourth between Pete Ward and Jim Lovell. Very exciting racing here, I have to say. A real upgrade from what we saw at Snetterton, where Jim Lovell really seemed to have owned that track. But now the racing is very, very much tighter, perhaps reflecting the technical nature of the course. So here we now are on board with Pete. Oh, and Jim Lovell very sneaking in there as we go through the banking and coming down into the church corner, looking out to the sea. Very, very close. Again, the Team Tork boys showing that small doesn't necessarily mean slow.
Yeah, these bikes actually both have the same motors, the twin Agni motors on either side of the bike, whereas Jim Lovell's bike is very small, very light, and with only one disc brake. Pete Ward's bike is a bit more powerful, more battery power, and obviously it's got two disc brakes at the front, so it might be better under braking on this course.
So as we cross the start-finish line there into the first banking corner, we can see Team MRB overtaking Annie Seal of Morris Motorcycles. Morris, of course, from Sweden, and Annie Seal, a very accomplished rider in endurance. She's a veteran of the Paris-Dakar, but here she's just starting out in road racing. But now we're back in... Oh, what's come away? Something just came away from Team Tork. I think it was a bit of the fairing. And it really seems to be affecting the aerodynamics. You can just see Pete Ward now edging in and pushing forward.
Yeah, looks like maybe the fairing wasn't held down properly, or something's come loose on the bike. And yeah, it has affected the aerodynamics, looks like.
Jim there sliding away around the corner but still keeping it together. Oh, and gives you an idea of how low these bikes are going. Jenny there sparking as she takes a turn and really banking very hard. Of course, the motors are stuck on the outside for these bikes to really get it, because they're air cooled, to really get into the airflow to keep them cool and keep the speed up. One of the things, and here Jenny now is lapping Annie Seal on the Mavizan Morris motorcycle bike. Jenny really showing everybody how it's done. Really phenomenal, very tidy piece of riding. Now here we are with Adam Parfelman on the Kingston bike, going around into the start and finish line. The field is actually starting to spread out now. We can see the lapping starting to happen, but here we are now back with fourth position. Pete Ward on the Electric Hussard, Staff Sergeant Peter Ward, based down in Bovington, here racing with the British Army, followed very closely by Team Tork from India, and then in fifth, well actually now been lapped, Annie Seal, one lap behind there on the Morris motorcycles. A very interesting colour choice there, I would say, from the Swedes. But now here we are back with Agni in pole position, it looks like, and Jenny really stretching her legs now and really getting out in front, going down through the chicane as she comes back into the start and finish line, and leading the race very convincingly. So she's opening up a big gap. We have Rob Moon in second now. And in third, it'll be a fight between, there we are, it's Pete Ward, and this is coming down the very steep chicane, followed by Jim Lovell on Team Tork. Very exciting racing so far more competitive and far closer than it was in the round one in Snetterton.
Jenny's about 2 seconds a lap quicker than Rob Moon at the minute. She's actually pulled the fastest lap on lap 8 of 1 minute 20, whilst Rob Moon is managing 1:22. Behind him, Pete is another second slower at 1:23. So Jenny seems to have really pulled.
With Jenny Tinworth as we start the penultimate lap here on the second round of the TTXGP. So she's now lapping there, Team MRB, and coming up to the banking turn. As you can see, the track itself is cantered here, so it means they can lean very deeply and take the turns quite at a bit of a pace. But Jenny's certainly moving very fast. Here we are. She's a bit of traffic there, overtaking Annie Seal as she goes through the church and. Sorry, start again. She's at the corkscrew and coming back up to start finish line for the penultimate lap. Here we are now back with Annie Seal and Morris Motorcycles. Interesting story about Morris Motorcycles, of course, is that they are the first team to start a micro shareholder way of funding their team. So you can log onto their website and buy a share in their team and be part of history. So it's a very novel idea. So of course, clearly what we're seeing is a lot of innovation both on the track and off the track in terms of getting this motorsport series off the ground and away at a world championship. And here we are, Jenny now, and she crosses the finish line there in pole position. We'll see very closely who's in second, if Rob Moon has been able to catch up. As she does a victory lap around the circuit, of course. Let's see where we are with who's in second. And it looks like Rob Moon was able to hold back the Electric Hussars, Pete Ward, so he takes second. And there we have Pete Ward on the Electric Hussar coming round into third, and Team Tork, Jim Lovell, the round 1 winner, taking what I'm sure will be a very disappointing fourth for him. So we'll find out where the rest of the teams are, but clearly look, a very ecstatic Pete Ward there. Team Tork in 4th position. Clearly something for them to look back on, but perhaps as a reflection of not only the riders understanding the bikes better, but the other bikes comparatively getting better. But look, a lot of camaraderie between the teams. There are real sportsmanship there. But clearly the day belongs to Jenny Tinworth, the Green Insurance Fastest Lap winner, as well as the winner of round 2.